Hello everyone, welcome to the Women Power Wealth Show. Jackie Edwards here. Now I've got a slightly controversial topic that we're going to be talking about today around why I don't think that you should be focusing your impact and your donations on charities alone. I don't think that charity is kind of the be all end all for how we can give back and make an impact and how we can make a difference in the world. Now, I think there are charities out there that are doing amazing things. And the way I see charity, and you might have a completely different opinion, and that is absolutely fine, but I see them as kind of a stopgap in like the most desperate situations. And they're there they have a purpose, they fulfill that purpose, but I don't think that they're really making the world a better place in the longer term. They are there to solve a problem right now and just to keep things ticking along so that that bottom bit of society or that, really, those few animals that are left just kind of keep ticking along. So they're there in those desperate situations. Whereas if we look at other types of investments, so social enterprise and social entrepreneurship, like that's how I think we're going to be able to change the future for the better so that we don't need to rely on charities for these desperate situations, that we get rid of these desperate situations and really focus on growth in the future, creating that legacy, creating that long-term lasting impact. So what does this mean? So a charity, let's talk about kind of definitions and what these things are. So a charity is a company that is funded solely by donations. So they rely on the goodwill and kind of like that social giving feeling of their donors, which is great when the donors are out there, especially great when the economy is good because more people are making money, more people are happy to give that money away because it makes them feel good. But when things start to get tight, as we're coming into a massive recession, a massive economic downturn after the coronavirus, after this pandemic, after things have been closed down for so long, companies they're struggling to sustain themselves. They're struggling to pay their employees. Most charities are really funded by bigger companies and bigger organizations that are able to kind of put a lot of money into them. These companies are going to be struggling to kind of keep their employees paid and to keep their doors open. So they're not going to be focused on their kind of charitable contributions, which is going to make charities struggle, which it can be okay because I think there's a solution in social entrepreneurship and social enterprise. So charities run completely by donation. They're filling kind of that desperate stopgap, like that last ditch effort at the bottom. And they're also spending a lot of their time raising donations. So not everything that comes in, not all of their funding goes straight into whatever their impact they're making, whatever they're trying to save or do. Not all of the money goes into that, especially the bigger ones. A lot of the money that you donate or that people donate is going into the administration cost of running that charity. And a lot of that administration cost is getting more donations. So all of those people in call centers, all of those people that are building relationships with donors, that are out there trying to raise more money, trying to get more donations. So it's like a big giant wheel that, yes, some of the money is trickling down and the impact they're making is important. But if we look at a new way of doing things, a different way of making that impact, and we look towards how can we make this change in the long term. So social entrepreneurship is like one step away from charity. So they are selling products or services, and the money that they make is going to their kind of impact, going to their cause. So they are making a profit. They are doing something to earn that money, not just relying on donations, and then they're using that money for their cause. So again, they're not completely reliant on donors. They've got a little mini business happening, which is awesome, and that's how you can get involved. So you can look at where can I buy those types of products so that I'm supporting these social enterprise companies so that I can have my money. Maybe it costs a little bit more to, buy some clothes from a social enterprise or to, get your food or eat at a social enterprise restaurant. But that little bit extra money is making a difference. It's making an impact. You're doing something for the future. Then social entrepreneurship is kind of one step further. And I think a lot of us are having that in our own businesses. So as women, as heartfelt entrepreneurs, we are building a lot of passion and purpose into our businesses. So for instance, my purpose in my business is to, so my goal is to create an army, a community of women that are looking to make change. We're supporting the UN global goals. So my big mission is by 2030, when the UN is aiming to have all of their global goals finished, is that I've worked with women and we've raised $1 billion worth of investment into creating a more sustainable future following the UN global goals. And that is completely possible, and we will have all of those problems solved by 2030. And I'm also along the way coaching and working one-to-one with women on their wealth mindset to show how they can make that impact, how they can manage their wealth to keep their family safe and secure and have that confidence to manage their wealth. And as we work together, and as I work with many women, we're just raising women and our confidence and our ability to do anything. So that is basically the social entrepreneurship behind my company. That is the passion and purpose. And each one of your companies is going to have something like that. I know a lot of women that, I've talked to here on the podcast, they take a portion of their earnings and they donate it to charities. Or, a lot of the women I talk to are really focused on, supporting other women-owned businesses, whether that's buying their products and services or helping them promote themselves and grow their businesses. So I know that we're working in this space already. And I think we should carry on with that. I think that's where a main focus for making our impact on the world, creating our legacy, is in focusing on where we can support and invest our money into social entrepreneurship, into companies that are making a difference. So that creates win-win-win situations all around. So not just donating money to feel good and to support a good cause, which is something that we can do, and that's great, but it's more than that. It's investing in companies that are working to make long-term and lasting change. And as part of our investment, we can get a return on that investment. We can get interest. We can get dividend. We can get equity repayments as part of that investment, so we can further our safety and our security and create that legacy internally for our family, as well as creating that legacy for the future world and making an impact. So some simple examples are, just look at where you're doing your daily shopping. Are you going to the big chain grocery stores that just, work with the big corporate farms that use lots of chemicals, that use lots of growth hormones, that are basically stripping our earth of nutrients? Or are you focused on buying your fruits and vegetables from local organically grown crops? It can be simple switches like that can add up to make a massive difference, because the more we spend on organic local produce, the more those local organic producers will grow and expand. And the more that will be beneficial for the earth to use less chemicals and more organic farming methods. The same with your meat. The same with your clothing. Where are you buying your clothing? Are you buying it from people that use, big sweatshops and child labor? Or are you using kind of small specialist boutiques with eco-friendly fabrics? So really think through, how can you invest for the future? And it's not just your shopping. So what companies can you invest in? So instead of investing in the stock market in just, your standard fund that, the FTSE 100 or whatever it is, that standard fund that just includes, a whole conglomerate of stocks that you don't really know what they all are. What if you spend that investment focused on, sustainable investments? So even if it's just a fund that only invests in companies that are focused on sustainability, or focused on non-oil and gas companies, or you pick companies that are maybe private companies. I super love investing in private companies that I love to work with and that I buy their products. And when they do equity fundraises or just crowdfunding even, and investing in them just to help those smaller companies or those companies that have a stronger mission and stronger purpose to grow their business and to grow their impact and to grow their mission. Because I believe that these forward-looking companies that are for profit are going to be the ones that are going to carry us into the future. Because the more companies that are out there that have a purpose and a passion and that are focused on a sustainable future, the more we support those companies, the more they'll be able to grow. The more of them will appear, and the less that we support these big, massive corporations that, they do great things, blah, 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 but they don't have our sustainable future at heart. So as we pull our money and our investment dollars away from them and focus on the smaller social enterprises and social entrepreneurship, those will grow. And that's how we make long-term lasting change and impact. And that's how we can create a legacy in the world. And that's what I want to help all the women I work with do, because it can be a landmine. And this is stuff that a lot of financial advisors aren't thinking about. They're not talking about. It's hard to connect with the right people to find the right types of investments to do these types of things. It's not just your standard run-of-the-mill investing. And I know we don't have loads of time because we're busy. We've got our lives, our families, our businesses. And that's what I'm here for, is to make sure that you understand what your mission is, what your purpose is, and how you can direct your investment dollars and make your impact as easily as possible in the most sustainable way possible. So if you want to learn more about that and you want to chat about how you can work that into your investment plan, then drop me a line, check out my website, see how we can work together. And I would love to talk to you on how we can make a difference and how we can, as women, as heartfelt entrepreneurs, how we can raise $1 billion in the next 10 years in order to complete the UN global goals, because that is my mission for the next 10 years. And I would love to have you join me on it. So give me a call, send me a message, and I will talk to you soon.